Hello, my YouTube friends. This is your digital dog, woof woof. Right, now we're going to talk about bows. Why not? Seems that I do like to shoot bows. Now, the trouble is with me, and it kind of runs in my family, and I don't think they'll mind me saying it, especially with my son, because he's legitimately been tested. I think, I can't remember the program now. Oh dear. But it had that guy in it, that scientist guy that was said, I'm not mad because I've been tested. Well, I've not been tested, but I'm mad. But anyway, so yeah, when it comes down to hobbies and stuff like that, I'm a bit bipolar, a bit ADHD. So I do actually find it very hard to stick to a hobby. Even though I love the hobbies I do, just for some reason, I can do them for about a couple of months and I just get bored and do something else. But it is what it is. Anyway, so let's talk about bows. Now, my baby here, and the reason why I'm going to actually talk about this, because I had a little bit of a conversation with a guy on YouTube about this, and he was quite adamant that I was wrong until I told him to do a bit of research. And then he did and came back and said, oh, yeah, you're right. So, my Samick Sage is a real Samick Sage. Now it's the same with I think like most takedown bows, like the Black Widow and all that. They will come with this. Now, if that's plastic, that's not a real Samick Sage. That's not a real Black Widow. That's not a real anything. They will have to be metal. There's a little scratch on there because I did test it and it was metal. Now, the reason why I say this is because the non-original Summit Sages are not made with the same material. So we'll read here. Summit Sage uses a specific combination of laminated hard maple and diamond wood, such as olive, diamond wood for its riser, while cheap knockoffs or clones often use lower quality generic softwoods or mastery plywood stained to look similar. So there you go. You may think you're buying a real Samick Sage or even a Black Hunter, but in reality you're not. And it's a shame. It's a shame that they do this. I found personally that if you go on Amazon, you are not going to get a real Samick Sage. You really do have to go to a proper archery shop, ring them up and have a little chat with them and, explain what you know, and they will be honest. Of course they'll be honest because they're an actual archery shop. So I brought this from an actual archery shop. I can't remember the name now, but because it was a few years ago. But yeah. Okay, yeah, I mean, Amazon do sell great bows. I would guess even the knockoff bows are still quite good, don't get me wrong, but they're just not as good, if that makes sense. It is what it is. I mean, it really does depend on how much you really care. And I kind of do when it comes to buying anything, really. It doesn't matter on price, same with my guitar. My Ebenezer was very cheap, but it was one of the best brands for rock music. So I do care about getting a brand that is a real thing, because there are Ibanez guitars that are not actually Ibanez guitars. So there's that. I think it happens with everything. Everything you buy, there's knockoffs. So yeah, so that's my love, and she's my baby. I love my Summit Sage. I do want to get a Black Hunter, but again, I don't think I'm going to go to Amazon, or if I do, I'm going to contact the seller and see what they say, because I'm not going to ask straight out because, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's that. And that's just a little bit of what, if you're going to go out and buy a bow, especially a takedown bow, kind of look for that. Do your research. Because even though, a knockoff bow, I'm not saying they're bad, but they're just not the quality of the real bow. Also, when it comes to cheap bows, now this is classed as a long bow simply because it's a takedown bow, but it's classed as a long bow because the string, whoops, let's go here, because the string doesn't actually hit that. It will just, go, where are we? It will go straight down. It won't hit the limb. So it's technically a long bow, a takedown long bow. Now this, it hasn't got a brand name, but this cost me, I think, around 40 quid. Now, to be fair, for 40 quid, this is a damn good bow. It really is. It shoots great. To be honest, now this is a backstory about this bow. And again, Amazon, excuse me. I ordered another bow, completely different. And then this came. So I rang up Amazon and I really complained. I said, look, you've sent me a bow that's not, the bow that I ordered. And they checked and they realised it wasn't. And basically they said, well, keep the bow and we'll refund you. Because I did say, I'm not going to chuck it away because it's no good. Did kind of find out after shooting it that it actually is a very good bow and only cost around 40 quid. So again, sometimes with bows, price is not, many people kind of, especially like pro archers, they'll recommend spending like 800 to, £1,000 on a bow. No, not if you're not doing competition or anything like that. If you're just like me, it's just a casual shooter, you ain't spending that money. You don't need to. You need to around about 150, I would say, and you'll get a really good bow. 40 quid, you'll get a really good bow. The other one, now this did have a brand name, but my memory's rubbish and I can't remember what it is. So there's that. And also there's another thing that I didn't realise as well, which a guy who I follow called Joe, he's an archer, ex-wrestler, boy gone bad, great guy. Apparently there's a thing where with these type of bows, with the rubber fletching, apparently you're not supposed to shoot them off the shelf. Apparently they won't be accurate. Absolute, yeah, because they are. Joe has proved it. I might even link his channel on this because I know a lot of you who follow me are in the E-Fed community. I know some of you won't know what it is, but it's basically a WW2K game, but the way they play it is they let the AI play it and everyone who follows their characters. So we play the characters in Discord, we do all that, blah, 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 promotion, blah, blah, blah. And it's fun, it's fun. It is what it is. Why not have a bit of fun, Life's too short. So, yeah, so this bow, I think this bow's about 45. And again, this only cost me, I think, around 45 to 60 quid. And this bow is a great bow to shoot. It's fantastic. So again, I don't understand these people who absolutely are hell-bent, especially like content creators, archers and that, who are hell-bent on trying to sell you expensive bows. Like I said, unless you're going to competition or anything like that, yeah, maybe, well, not maybe, you will want a good bow. But if you're just like a hobbyist like me, and you're just shooting in your garden or, you don't need an expensive bow. You really don't. You just kind of have to make sure that it is a real bow. But even that isn't 100% important. it is for someone like me who's a little bit kind of bipolar ADHD. So if I'm going to buy something, I want to make sure it's the real thing. So there's that. Now, also, and I'm going to do it, I was going to do it last night, but because it's England, it rained. But what I've done, I made up a few of these, and they're going to be fire arrows. So basically, now I wouldn't recommend doing this, and when I do the video, I'm absolutely going to say do not do this. I mean, I've been shooting for quite a long time. I've also practiced shooting with these, and safety is everything. You don't do this without being a little bit safe. And it was Joe who first showed me this, so I said to him, oh, I've got a copy of that, and he said, go ahead, copy it. So there you go, I'm going to. But like I said, it's got to be dark for the effect, but obviously last night it rained, so just couldn't do it. Hopefully tonight it won't rain, we'll see. But I guess it'll be the next couple of days or so, or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, how are we? We're only 11 minutes really, so it's kind of like a short video. But really kind of, you know, saying that on the one hand, if you're going to buy like a Samick Sage or a Black Hunter, kind of do your research and make sure you are actually buying the real thing. Because often than not, you are buying a knockoff. And the wood is different. You know, like I've just read it, it's different. You know, they're stained to make look like the real wood, where they're actually not. Now, I would think logically, because of that, they wouldn't last as long. Do you know what I mean? You know, that makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me. So yeah, that's it really. It's just a short little video. I've just come in. I'm gonna do something because I've always got to do something. I've done my workout today, and yeah, I've got energy. So I'm going to do something. But anyway, so I thought I'd do a little video just to explain that, you know, if you're going to buy a bow, especially a cheap bow, just make sure it's the real deal because you'll get more out of it. That's how I see it. You know, I like talking to the guy on his YouTube thing. Yeah, we were kind of going back and forth on this, and I said to him, look it up. You know, don't take my word for it, look it up. And he did. Then he came back, he said, yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, you're right. So, you know, I mean, it's something to think about. You don't have to care. You really don't. You know, if you're not someone like me, then you just want a bow that's cheap and does its job, then yeah, fine, you know. It's the same with vapes. Vapes do it. You know, they do knockoffs all the time. Are they good? Yeah, pretty much. So it is what it is. But I just prefer the real thing. You know, if I'm going to buy a Black Widow, I want a real Black Widow, and I know how to test it. So there's that. So anyway, you all have a blessed day, and look after yourselves, look after your family, look after your friends. Be good. Whatever, you know, you believe in. You know, people have different beliefs, but at the end of the day, even if you don't believe in anything, being a good person doesn't cost anything. It's free. Free to be polite. It's free to be a nice person. It doesn't cost any money, you know. One of the best things in life is to be a good person, and it's free. So having said that, this is Digital Dogs, and I will see you soon. Hopefully my next video will be the fire arrows, which should be fun. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.